Another year's gone by. I'm so glad you're with me. The way you lift me up with the love you give me. It's good to know that you'll be mine when days are blue. Oh, what a dream come true.
Welcome to the Orange is the New Black podcast. We are at season 7, episode 10, the 13th.
13th. Well, that's not a great start.
Already screwed up. The 13th. I'm Rob Southgate, who apparently can't read.
I'm Martha Southgate.
And Martha, can you read us the description from Netflix?
Yeah, while Piper reconnects with faces from her past, Alex revisits her own romantic history, Linda puts Tamika on notice, and Caputo owns up to his misdeeds. Yes, he did.
Pretty concise.
Yeah. It's...
There's a lot more that
There's
happened.
A dead chicken.
But there's dead chicken. And the Caputo thing, absolutely.
All right, let's start with Lorna.
Yeah, so the last episode ended with Lorna in that fugue state, and we saw her go outside, and we didn't know
where she went,
what went on there, and we still don't know.
And we didn't know if she even was going outside or if
Right.
that was just what she was seeing. But she did. She locked herself in the chicken coop.
Right. She went outside and went to the chicken coop, and that's where they found her. The the guards are not really equipped for this kind of thing. They like
it was
Dixon,
like the Keystone Cops.
Oh my gosh, Dixon is like ready to tase. They're all like
they almost
terrified.
shot her. He almost shot her.
No, that was a taser.
Well, before that, she said he had a gun.
But they're all. But she's
was I
in
wrong?
there, and they're like,
Maybe I'm
"What's
wrong.
she doing? What's she doing?" It's like when they looked through, you could see
She was
she's
just
sitting there, like,
cowering.
terrified.
But he said
like,
she had a weapon.
but she didn't.
No, but he said she
Right.
did.
Well, because
she had a chicken.
Because he's scared.
Well, he was having post-traumatic stress from
Because we find
he
that
was
out
triggered,
later.
yeah,
Yes.
because of the riot.
But
so
they're
he was
just-
having a flashback.
Yeah, and they're not equipped for this.
Mm-mm.
Ward was kind of like, "What's going on?" So, but she was the one with the level head, of course, and she's going, "Okay, we need to get her out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's open the door." And they're all like freaking out, and they open the door, and Dixon freaks and tases her.
Yes.
Now, you brought the chicken up.
Yeah,
Did
because
the
he fried
tasing-
the chicken.
The tasing fried the chicken,
Yes.
right?
Because they
So-
said it smelled even like.
But
fried
later
chicken.
on, when they found the chicken,
Yeah.
that was a different chicken.
No, they
That was
just
the same
left the
chicken.
chicken there.
Then how did they find another chicken?
Well, another chicken died from undisclosed causes. How about that? It just happened. Maybe there is a murderous chicken on the loose. But there was another death. There was another chicken
Another
death.
Chicken side.
But the first chicken was killed when they tasered Lorna.
This show is slowly becoming Mindhunter, but
A chicken.
it's about chickens.
Yeah.
Starring
Suzanne and Lolly. And I'm all on. I'm all in. I'm all on board.
I will watch that
I would
show.
watch their spin-off show.
Yes.
And I'd
As
be
long as they occasionally time travel in Lolly's box.
and she
and-
writes and she goes back to writing Time Hump.
Time Hump Mysteries.
Yes.
This would be a new venture
Yeah,
for her.
that would be good. It would be like Murder, She Wrote.
Chicken side she wrote.
Yeah.
So let's finish up.
Okay, but then McCullough was upset, and she was really upset that Hellman didn't follow protocol. Or that, she was like, no, we didn't follow protocol. And he was like, yeah, too bad, whatever. We did what we needed, and it's over. And she was not okay with
No.
that.
Well, we've seen her backstory. We know they steamroller over
Yes.
her. They don't listen. And even though he wasn't being like those guys in her flashback, or like some of the other COs have treated her,
Mm-hmm.
she's done. They're all a mess.
Yeah.
Dixon's a mess.
Yes.
She's a mess.
Yes.
Hopper's a mess, even though he's a mess.
Yes.
He's just a mess.
Yes.
It's all, and they're back to the way the guards were at Litchfield originally, because when they first went down here, the guards were a little different, but they're all starting to become like the guards acted at Litchfield, where it's like they're more involved with the inmates.
Mhm.
Things are a little bit they're less hard nosed about stuff because they're all kind
But
of
they're
train
all
wrecks.
freaking doing it.
Yeah,
You've got, okay, so we got Hopper is working with Alita. You've got Loosecheck working with
okay, but
Daya.
Loosecheck has
You've
always
got no,
been.
but that's my point. You've got Hellman doing God knows what.
Hellman's the worst. Yeah,
He's awful, and he's working. He's doing stuff and bringing stuff in. Then you've got McCullough working with Alex, bringing in the phone chargers.
yeah.
I mean, they're literally just corrupt.
Alvarez is not doing anything. He is managing the chickens. That's
Alvarez is doing a very good job. He is. He's being, because you know what?
He is good.
He's got Suzanne and Lolly, and he's nice to them.
He's
And I
kind
love
of-
that he has that.
He's kind of the best CO they have.
Yeah, which is sad. But he is
funny,
very
but-
sweet with them.
Well, and
I will say that.
he just does his job. But the rest.
So I guess I don't know what order this kind of this particular episode is all over the place, so it's a little harder, and a lot of the stories intertwine.
It's really.
It's going to be a
tied
little
together.
harder for me to just go, oh, okay, let's talk about Alex, because if we talk about Alex, she's the flashback.
Right.
Plus, she's with McCullough doing God knows what. Plus, she's got the whole Piper. So let's get her out of the way. Let's do Alex.
Actually, before we do that, can we just wrap up Dixon really quickly?
Go for it.
Because we did mention.
Oh, so then we got to go to the class.
But only about Dixon. We'll do the whole
All
class
right.
thing later. But
go for it.
Dixon. So you have Caputo's class later in the episode.
It's the restorative
justice.
Yeah.
And they're doing this exercise where they have to confront.
They're role playing.
But it's the inmate is either they're having a letter read to them from a victim of theirs, or another inmate is describing an issue.
Yes.
And this is really working.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, but it's working. And Dixon confronts Ruiz. And at first, Caputo's like, yeah, that's not how this works. And, I'd kind of forgotten what had happened to him.
Well, but first, the reason he confronted her was because she was role-playing with Beth. And Beth was apologizing to her children. Ruiz was standing in for her children.
Right.
And Beth was apologizing for drowning them.
Right.
And Ruiz said, well, she shouldn't be forgiven. She should be separated. She shouldn't be with us in general population.
Right. She's not safe.
And Dixon stepped in and said, oh, wait a second. Why are you judging her? How are you any better than her after what you did to me?
Right.
And Caputo was like, oh, this is inappropriate.
Yeah,
and
it's
he's
only
like,
inmates.
No.
And
She hurt me
Well,
badly.
and Ruiz said, no, I want to do this.
Yeah.
That was a great scene.
Yeah.
Dixon, like we saw, he's having PTSD from this.
Yes.
He's very damaged from it. He's upset with Ruiz. But it was really, by the end, I mean, he felt reconciled.
Well, hang on. Let me tell what.
Yeah, go ahead.
Caputo,
to me, it was just a wonderful scene.
Caputo mediated.
Yeah.
Between the two of them. And she had to sit there while he said, you held me hostage and you tortured and humiliated me and I can't sleep. And, he was still suffering so much.
Right.
And then Beth came up to him and said, do you want a hug? Which was awkward. And he was so funny, awkwardly said no, like thinking, oh my God, you're a freaking murderer. And then he went, well, actually, I really could use a hug. And so she hugged him, and then he called Ruiz over and made her hug with Beth.
Which was amazing.
That was fantastic.
The body language.
Yeah, it was so
Ruiz.
funny.
She went stiff. Like, I think she was fine with hugging Dixon, but the Beth thing, she's like,
ew. Yeah,
seriously.
She was like, no, this is not happening.
Like,
but she did.
She did it.
She sort of did it.
But it was a great little moment.
Yes.
So I'm glad we got that out of the way. And we'll come back to what happened, because there's more that happens in here when we talk about Caputo's story. But you wanted to talk about Alex?
I think we should do Alex's flashback.
Yeah, the flashback actually I agree that we should do it because even though it was very telling, it wasn't revelatory.
No.
Like some of the other ones you go like, "Oh, I got insight." This
Yeah.
It's like as soon as
Of
it
course
started.
she's with a dysfunctional person.
Yeah, it shows
And
Alex
of course she's
with her
running
friend
away and screwing
Sylvie,
it
who's
up.
drunk. And
Well, she's an alcoholic.
She's an alcoholic.
But in that
and-
scene, she was falling down drunk.
Right. And she drops her phone on the tracks and then jumps down to get it. It's like
In the subway
Yeah,
as a train's
in
coming.
the subway. And she's not killed or anything, but that's when she realizes like I really need help. And Alex is like trying to swoop in. And the whole time that flashback was happening, I was thinking about these flashbacks.
Yes.
I was thinking about how they're usually not so obvious. Yet in this case, I knew exactly what this flashback was going to be telling us and what we were seeing. Alex is attracted to damage.
Yes.
That's why she liked Piper. We knew that from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
She seems all put together and everything, but she's all in when she's wearing the big Supergirl cape.
Yeah.
And she's in charge.
Yes.
You know?
So when Sylvie got sober, Alex had set up a dinner with her but didn't tell her.
Right.
And Sylvie was like, no, I've got plans. I'm going out with my sponsor and my AA friends. And Alex was jealous. And
Right.
she said, well, come with. Like, we're not excluding you. It's just that you didn't tell me we had plans.
Right.
And I'm trying to assimilate in this new life.
Right.
And
I'm doing what you want.
yeah, exactly. And so when they go, she ends up going out with them and is
No,
I'm
she didn't go
sorry,
out.
she didn't. She
She
went out with her other friends. Yeah.
And she was like making fun of the Sylvie situation.
Yes. And that's when she met Piper.
Like, oh, I'm going to drink. I'm going to do
Yeah.
this. And it was like, so in other words, she's making herself better and you're going to take a crap on it. And then she sees Piper and immediately you can tell from across the room that Piper is damaged goods. like when later on, after she hooks up with Piper and Sylvie comes home and she's furious.
And she punches her.
She punches her and you see Piper outside, no shoes on, like looking around like, oh, you're like, oh my God. That's
like
why
she can't find her way out of a paper bag.
No,
that girl.
especially at that point.
Yeah.
And that's why Alex is like, yeah, that one's
That's
damaged.
the one I like.
Yep.
Yeah. So she she obviously dumped Sylvie and went off with Piper.
Or Sylvie dumped her.
I hope Sylvie dumped
I think
her.
Sylvie dumped her.
And so in the meantime, Alex, I'm not going to go into Alex's full story. I mean, Piper's full storyline yet.
Right.
But Piper is, Alex is looking up Zelda on Facebook and everything, and she's watching these videos, and she's getting more and more jealous and realizing Piper has this whole life. She's doing yoga. They're having, coffee and doing all these things. And
Even
Alex
though
is
she told
stuck
her
in there.
to go out and find somebody and do your thing. She is not okay with it.
No. And so Alex is
but it's
making herself feel better with McCullough.
Right. Now, I don't know if she's jealous of it that you're connecting with people as much as she's jealous that, like, I'm stuck in here. Now you're living this life.
She's living the life.
And it's like, wait a minute.
I fully believe she's jealous that she's living that life.
I think that's what's going on too.
And Alex can't compete with that.
So here's Alex fully embracing this McCullough
going
thing.
Into the McCullough thing.
And guess what? McCullough's damaged.
McCullough is so and so she's got PTSD from the riot, and she's injuring herself again after what happened with Lorna.
As soon as she said that, when she showed that she had the cigarette
you
burns,
knew Alex
and
was going to be all
I thought
over
you stopped.
that.
I thought that Alex is going to get deeper in with her because she's hurting herself.
And unfortunately, Alex is not going to help her. Alex is going to drag her down further or keep her sick because she's going to need her to be unwell.
Right.
In order for Alex to feel what she
they're not going
to
walk out of here a couple when Alex finally gets out of prison because she's going to make her more and more damaged goods.
Mm.
It's sad. It sucks. And the thing is, I think that Alex needs counseling to get over that. I think Alex genuinely is smart and is genuinely like getting into the relationships thinking that it's a real relationship. She's unaware that she needs this damaged goods thing. I really do think that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Luschek. So he's now teaching the GED class. He's
Yeah, because-
substituting, and he's not teaching it. He's just sitting there, and they're watching videos. And I love the one, Zirconia.
Yeah.
Is that her name?
Zirconia? Yeah.
Cubic Zirconia?
Yes.
Okay. She is sitting there like totally in it. She's like, no, I'm learning history.
Yeah,
I
this
love
is history.
this.
I'm digging this.
Yeah.
And
Doggett is really upset though because
Doggett's
they're
like-
not learning and she won't be ready for the GED
and
test.
she's like, yeah, we've got the GED test. And Luschek's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
Yeah.
He's
So
like-
they end up going to Tasty. They find her with
When I say
Doggett.
he's the worst, he's not the worst like Hellman is the worst.
No.
Hellman's an abusive jerk. Luschek
is just morally
he's just a low-level criminal.
he's morally bankrupt.
He's morally bankrupt.
So Zirconia and Creech end up going to find Doggett and Tasty when they're tutoring together,
Yes.
and they beg Tasty to let
This was a
them
great
in.
little scene too.
Yeah, I love that.
Now, what's funny is did she only imply that she should be tutoring, or was there, am I remembering this wrong, that there was something where Ward was kind of asking her to teach the GED?
I don't know about that.
Okay, because she should totally be teaching the GED class.
Right, but I don't know. Will they let an inmate teach it?
Oh, and if she doesn't have a teaching,
Right.
although they're letting Luschek, so
Yeah, but I don't know if they
they'll
can let an inmate.
But I bet
Although
they
Yoga
could.
Jones used to get to teach yoga.
Right. And why couldn't they have, if they're worried about that, since she's a lifer, why couldn't they have Luschek sit in there while she teaches it?
Yeah.
She's being monitored.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's where it's
hopefully
going.
something will happen. So now she's tutoring Doggett, Zirconia, and Creech. Alita comes in and makes fun of them, and she's telling them, "Oh, you trying to get a GED? What's that going to do for you? You're like, you need to be dealing drugs and living my life, you know."
Yes.
And they actually, I loved that Creech shut her down.
Yeah.
And was like, "You're not someone to emulate," and that was awesome. And then you see Alita later all by herself.
Well, you know what it's
Because we
showing?
thought she was getting hand before.
Right. But what you're seeing is she was getting hand. Where she's losing it is because of Ward's programs. She's playing the old school, we keep everybody hooked on things, we keep people dumb. I'm playing Kingpin and everything. And because Ward is doing these things that are positive for him, the chickens, the GED classes, the fact that Zirconia is in there like, I really dig history. This is cool.
Yeah.
And she said, we can't correct things if we don't know what happened first.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, she fully embraces why history is important, why
Mhm.
understanding history is important. That is a huge step for her.
Yes.
And it's all because Ward has put these programs in place.
Right, which Linda is
Which-
pissed about and
but
is
Alita
threatening
is-
her job.
Alita's playing some old school game that she's losing.
She's
now.
losing badly to
Yeah.
Daya. And but Linda is threatening Ward's job
Oh my gosh.
because
Linda.
of these programs.
Yeah.
But you know what? She's not costing her any money. Hopefully she'll let her keep
Well, that was
doing
just it. Ward just, her argument back was, it's actually saving you money.
Yeah.
So be as weird as you want. It's saving you money.
Mhm.
And Linda's like, until it doesn't save me money, you're fine. But the second it's cost me a dime,
Yeah.
you're in trouble. Yeah, because that's all she cares about. I don't know. As we're barreling to the end of this series, I don't know if we're going to have resolution. Like,
Mhm.
will that company fall apart?
Right.
Will
Well, a lot of our prisons right now in our reality
right
are going away from the private
from being privatized.
from being privatized. So maybe that's what they'll do at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right. So Daya then we see later she's got her whole group, her crew around her, and Alita is completely by herself. But that Annalisa's trouble.
Yeah.
And she's
She's trying to play.
she's playing both
She was
sides.
Daddy's
Yeah.
friend, and now she got usurped by Daya. So now she's trying to get revenge on Daya. She's trying to get that play going.
And she told her that Daya has the new pipeline.
right.
And I don't know if she didn't tell her it was Luschek though.
She didn't tell her what it was,
But
she just said she's got a new pipeline.
and
she
they're
might have-
gonna
She might have said it was Luschek, but that's irrelevant right now.
and Luschek freaking said he'd put the drugs up his butt. So
He
he
didn't
was
just
like,
say do it. He offered that.
yeah,
up.
he volunteered.
He's
He's
like,
like,
"Oh,
oh
yeah."
no, we'll bring in the good stuff, and then I'll just shove it up my butt. And she's like, oh, well, all right, then we could bring pills then, because
Yeah.
like
And he's
she
like,
was doing
"Okay."
fentanyl. He's like, no one's gonna believe me if I bring books in here.
Right.
He's like, I'm
I'll
not bringing
just-
a book in
I
here.
have no problem. Just put it right up my butt.
Oh my god,
Oh,
loose check. He's so crazy.
Well, he is not going to end up with Gloria after this. I think that dream of his
Oh no,
is going to fall
that ship
apart.
has sailed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even though there's gonna be one more reference to it, I'm sure, by the end of the season. I can't. There's no way. She's got like positivity, like going
Yeah.
upward,
Yeah.
and he's just
No.
trash.
Ward, Caputo, Fig, and Ward's boyfriend, I'm not sure what his name is,
Yeah, I don't know his
are
name.
all having dinner.
Yes.
And Caputo decides that's the moment he needs to own
Oh,
everything
well, first
and resign.
he says it as they're walking in. I have to resign, and Fig's like, "What?
Oh,
like,
not right now. We're having dinner,
right now?"
jackass.
They go in, and he can barely sit down before he's like, "I'm
Yeah.
going to resign."
Yeah.
But then he comes clean about the whole thing.
I really liked that he recognized all of this
Yes.
and he
well,
woke up
he really recognized it because
of the restorative. Yeah.
Yes, because he had to role play somebody, and he was like, "No, you're not hearing them.
Mhm.
All you have to do is hear them, and you'll know you were wrong."
Yeah.
And as he's doing this, you could see he immediately had recognition here. He was taking it, and he was like, "Oh." So then when he said this, you're like, yeah, of course, because he knows he was wrong. Before he was fighting it, because he was like, no, in my heart, I didn't believe this.
Mhm.
Forget your heart. What does it look like from the victim's standpoint? Yep, you did it.
And Ward said, "You're so good. Like, you should be commended."
Right.
And then he said this happened, and she's like, "You have no choice. You have to resign."
Yeah, you have to resign.
And she was devastated because he was the reason that so much of what she was doing was successful.
Right.
Ugh.
But he has to get
But
out of
he has
there.
to own up for what he did in his past.
Yeah.
All right, we got Red.
And he could get resolution from this. Like, and now that he's owning it, there could be resolution that comes around for Caputo, but I love that he owned it. I love that he said it the right way too.
Yeah.
The whole thing was done really well.
So Red got cut her hand.
Yep.
She was very forgetful again in the kitchen. Then she cut her hand, and Nikki got her to the nurse,
Right.
and
told
the nurse, there's something else going on here.
Right. Tried to get it through. And Red
she
was like,
like,
no. But that nurse listened.
Yeah. So they did a neurological exam, and
Yep.
then they called Red in.
No, Nikki in.
Nikki, I'm sorry.
Red
They
was
called
already in
Nikki in. I know who I meant.
Yeah, yeah.
I meant Nikki. They called Nikki in, and Red said, Red had told the doctor when they said, "You have someone that you trust that you can," and she said, "You bring me Nikki." And
Right.
oh my God, that was so touching. And they both were crying.
What a scene.
And it
Red
turns
faces
out
away
she
from
has
her.
the
Nikki standing behind her, and they
just
give
sobbing,
the diagnosis. And Nikki's face, like, she's just like, I mean, this is her mom.
Yeah, she has early onset dementia.
Yes.
And
it was brought on by head injury.
Yes.
And by the time in the shoe.
Yes.
Or at least they think that's what exacerbated the situation, which we know it did.
Right.
And Nikki is just devastated. And she also is feeling that she betrayed her friend,
Mm-hmm.
even though this is going to help her friend.
Yeah, she did not. Yeah.
Right.
And so what else is going on in the kitchen? Okay, so we have the one woman was banging on the window.
Yes.
And she doesn't speak
Yeah,
Spanish
one
or
of the-
English, so no one knows what she's saying.
Yeah, one of the detainees is banging
So
on
they
it.
brought her in to cook.
Right.
And she started just boiling a big pot of water and a ton of parsley, and no one knows what she's
that was
doing.
when Red cut her hand, but
It's like she's
Flocka-
got to be doing something.
Flocka goes, "Is parsley soup a thing?"
Oh my God.
And just as she said that,
She's like, we just use it as a garnish.
yeah, that's when Red cut her hand,
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, so we didn't. Get
So
to
we'll
see
get
what
to that. I have a
was.
feeling that'll be in the next episode. We're gonna find out
But
what was the girl we can't understand speaking, or
But
what
fuck-
was she cooking?
When she said that, I was
Yeah.
dying. I was like, that is the funniest
Yeah.
thing.
So Nikki and Shawnee try to be intimate, and it didn't work.
Right.
And
Yeah, it hurts her.
yes. And then Nikki sees Lorna when she takes Red to the infirmary.
Yes.
She sees Lorna. And she's like, "What happened?"
Yeah, because she
and
has
she
no, I
couldn't get
forgot that
any
she had
answers.
No
yeah,
idea.
she couldn't get any answers. So then Lorna came back. She got out.
Yeah.
And she came back, but she's not okay. And she could barely walk. And she's in bed. And Nikki said, "You got to cover for me, Gloria. I can't go to the kitchen. I have to stay with her." So Nikki has become the mom. Like,
right.
she's the mom of Red. She's the mom of Lorna.
Yep.
She's like the caretaker to everybody.
Which really is what's happened.
Shawnee.
Red was the mom,
Yeah.
taking care of all of them.
And now she's the in the
And Nikki had to was the daughter that has to rebel. Then she's back in the fold, and now she is the mother figure, taking care of her.
And Shawnee,
with her elderly mother.
While Nikki was gone, Shawnee got the letter saying that she is getting removed.
Okay, so let's go back to that
she's gonna
for a
get
second.
Deported.
Before, when Nikki didn't go back, she said, "I'm failing everybody on every front.
Mhm.
I've got my friend here. I've got Red. I've got this, and you have to tell Shawnee, I'm sorry. I've got to do this." But Shawnee got that letter.
Yeah.
So now, does that mean Nikki's going to come back and
Shawnee's gone?
Gone.
Probably. Right?
So more guilt.
Yes.
For Nikki.
And not even being able to say goodbye.
Yeah.
She's going to be devastated. So Nikki's got a lot of loss right now and a lot going on. All right.
And you think about that character's arc from the beginning. I mean, between the drugs and everything, and now she's really pulled it together. These are just hammering her.
Yeah, it's
so
not good.
I'm anxious to see where things go with this.
All right.
So should we talk about?
Oh, and Lorna told Nikki that Vinny came to see her and took the baby away and isn't coming back. So Nikki's upset because she can't figure out what's going on. I'm hoping she can call
right that she
Vinny
gets this,
and find out what's going on.
Right.
Or use one of the phones and check his Facebook or something that would show them that the baby died.
Right.
And like that.
Yeah, because I don't know how she'd have a number for Vinny, but she could probably figure out something.
Well, she could message him on Facebook or something and or do something.
Because she's not getting a clear story at all from Lorna.
And so I'm hoping that happens so she could better help her by getting the truth.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got Suzanne and Lolly.
I'd like to call her Detective Suzanne.
Detective Suzanne and Lolly are trying to figure out. I love that they named the one chicken that died was Lady Cacciatore.
Lady Cacciatore.
So that was a highlight for me. And Lady Cacciatore is dead.
She said it too, like, oh, Lady Cacciatore.
Yeah, Lady Cacciatore is dead. And Suzanne knows it was murdered.
It was
and
murder.
They blame the 13th.
Hence the name of the episode.
And then I love when Suzanne says, "We're going to bury it and pretend it didn't happen." And Lolly goes, "This all feels so familiar," because they sure did that before. Yes. Okay.
But the other thing that happened when they find the dead chicken, Lolly immediately goes into conspiracy.
Yes.
Like, it was this one that shot from here.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my gosh.
So fantastic.
And of course, she was right on the 13th chicken. Yeah. She's like, I know it was you. And Suzanne's like, it checks out.
And then Doggett is trying to advise Suzanne. So she's talking about the chicken murder. And she just keeps putting questions in Suzanne's head and driving Suzanne crazy. So she's like,
but what if
okay, so you put her in the shoe, and she's like, no, it's more of a therapeutic module.
Right.
And then Doggett's like, are you sure you have the right chicken? And then she finds another dead chicken.
But what if it's not that chicken?
Exactly. And then
Suzanne is looking at her from the top bunk, and that hair is like sticking up.
Oh my God, I love it.
Down there, she's just like, what? And she's saying,
mind blown.
Her face was like,
she's like, oh no,
what?
I better have the right chicken. And then Alvarez is like, what do you have that chicken in? Why do you have it in such a small compartment?
Right.
Oh my God, so funny.
Oh my gosh, this chicken stuff is
So
killing
we don't
me.
know. We didn't get any resolution on the chickens.
No, there's a serial.
There's a serial
chicken.
It's a new chickening, a new kind of chickening.
Yes.
It's a de-chickening.
Oh.
So anyway, we've got Piper to talk about.
The Piper storyline is good. It's good, and I'll tell you why it's good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
It's not because of Piper.
And it's certainly not because damn Larry. God, I hate him.
But it is.
But
we got resolution.
Yeah.
Like we got Larry and
well, here, let's start with why.
Okay.
So Zelda and Piper are in that fancy company.
The yoga place.
No, they're like, is that?
Oh no, not the yoga place. They were at the consulting firm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
that's where Zelda works.
And they were having lunch, and Piper tells her about the artisanal soap company.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too. That she had started, and she's like, actually, it was really getting to be successful. We were in Barney's and whatever. And Zelda tells her to contact her former co-worker, co-owners, and make resolution, and didn't tell them it was Larry, and didn't tell her it was an ex-husband. So then so she ends up telling her the story. She calls Larry.
No, wait, I want to say this line from Zelda before she calls Larry.
Do it.
Because I loved this, because Piper says, I can't call him because of how we left things. Mm-hmm. And Zelda says, if you contact them, how you left things is no longer how you left things.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? Not every breakup or leaving of things needs that resolution. But when you think back on times where maybe something ended oddly, or you're hesitant because you feel like there's some residue, it's like, yeah, but you could resolve it. Doesn't mean it's going to be a positive resolution. Mm-hmm. It might be your chance to go back and say, you know what? I never got to say screw you. Mm-hmm. Or let's talk and we'll let it be what it is. Mm-hmm. But I loved when Zelda said that. It really struck a nerve with me.
And I actually did this with a friend a year or so ago, and I hadn't spoken to in quite a few years. And I wrote her and just said, I just wanted you to know that I realized that I was a judgmental jerk, and I've really worked on myself in the last couple of years, and I just wanted you to know that I see who I was and what I was doing, and I'm so sorry, and I just wanted you to know.
And how you left it changed.
And she wrote back and said, okay, I don't know, what are you asking for? I was like, I'm not asking for anything. I just wanted you to know that I'm sorry, and that I recognized it and fixed it. And she said, well, did you want to get together? And I was like, oh, not unless, I mean, if you did, I would probably get together, but I'm not looking for friendship necessarily, but I just wanted you to know. And now we get together. We've gotten together twice, I think.
I'm
since
still
that
waiting for my
lunch.
apology. It's been 27 years.
You're not
years,
getting
so.
one. It's been 32. That's why you're not getting one. But it does. I mean, sometimes it works. And she was mature enough to be able to say, you know, what are you looking for? Did you want to actually see each other, like go out? Like, so we're like, oh, well, we could go to lunch, so we went to lunch and we've then.
And so Zelda was right.
Yeah. So in that situation, but there are other relationships I have that I have had to leave for safety reasons.
Yeah. And
for health reasons.
How you left it is how you left it.
And
it's done.
it needs to be done because I can't let them back in my life.
It doesn't mean what she said doesn't mean everything
an
has
abusive
to end
relationship.
Roses. It means if you left this and you feel it left like, well,
or like you changed, like you kind of went, you know what? I was a real jerk. Like I didn't know I was being a jerk at the time.
She had some residual stuff. Well, go ahead. Just reach out to them. If they say no, you can write it off as like, you know what? I tried.
Well, and that was kind of what I figured too, is I would just go, I'm just going to put it out there so she knows that, I see it. Yeah. And it doesn't mean it takes away what she did. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have any responsibility, or that I say, oh, it was all my fault. But it was like, oh, God, really noticed that.
Yeah,
like really woke up and saw that I
played a part.
That
here,
my part was this, and I'm really sorry, and I just wanted you to know that I have worked on it, and I recognize it, and I don't want you to feel like
and
I blame you, like that I thought it was all your fault.
Interesting in this scene when she calls, Larry's just like, oh, hey, it's you. Polly obviously is like,
guilty and
Nope.
jealous.
Yeah. But when they went to dinner, I think Polly was fine. I think it all kind of smoothed out in a different way.
Mhm.
Was it
I think-
100%? Are they going to hang out? No, never.
Well, and Polly tells him that she's pregnant and they're having a son.
Right.
Um,
Which was also why she was feeling awkward and guilty.
right.
Because they had the affair around Piper, and it's
Yes.
like,
And now they have 2 children.
Now
and,
look at
yeah.
this. But
Piper doesn't care, and
No,
she's got Zelda.
and I think Piper learned that in the moment.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't care.
Yeah, because she doesn't want to be with him.
But another revelation that happened here is we found out that Zelda and Piper are not sleeping together.
they're not intimate.
That
They're
was
just
interesting.
friends. But Piper would like to be. And
I would assume
Zelda
they
would
were.
like to be.
I had assumed they were, but it came out here that no, that's not happening. And Piper's like, no, I'm married.
Mhm.
But Alex is treating it as if like, oh yeah, you're just doing whatever. And it is definitely
That's what's worse,
going that way.
because this is more real.
She's
If it
building
was
a
yes,
relationship.
this is at this point it's an emotional affair,
Yep.
and it is working very quickly, gathering momentum to be a full-fledged affair.
Right.
And she's not being honest with Alex, and she's not being honest with herself how far this is going. And then she's like, oh no, I'm married. And it's like, you're not acting married, my
Right.
friend.
Nobody's seeing
And,
you as married.
Yeah. Okay, so Alex in the meantime was calling Piper, and Piper was ignoring her phone calls. That's not married.
Right.
That's not I'm in a relationship. That's I'm with Zelda and I don't want you interrupting.
Right. Which
That's an
was
emotional affair.
was mirrored later
Yeah.
when Piper called Alex and Alex put decline.
Yeah.
So their relationship is not only rocky, I think it's
It's almost
on the
done.
rocks.
Yeah, it's almost done. And then let's see, is there anything else? We see them at the end and they're like hugging, and then Piper, I keep getting them mixed up today. Piper started smelling Zelda's hair, and she's like, I really am all about this shampoo that you're using.
yeah.
And they're kind of getting more
They're
and
definitely
more
getting more intimate. Yes.
And definitely not friend, although I do okay, sometimes my friends will do something like that, but that's
What?
not
Smell your hair?
well, like, yeah, or like, oh, you smell, like they'll
Who
hug me.
smells your hair?
I can't say it on here. What if she's listening?
Okay.
That would be awkward.
Nobody has smelled me.
You were standing right next to me.
Well,
and we've talked about it like 5 times because we keep laughing about it. But if you don't remember,
I don't remember.
but that's because we're like that's a goofy thing. It's not a sexual thing. It's just funny. But it's but I don't want if she's listening, I don't want her to think that I'm calling her out, that it's a weird
For being weird and smelling your hair.
Not my hair.
Gee, your hair smells
neck.
terrific. Oh, so she smelled drool and
No.
chips.
She said I smelled good. Some people think I smell good. So maybe that was yours that was coming off you, and that's why you can't tell what I smell
Oh,
like.
yeah.
So,
I got some stuff going on.
yeah. So anyway, that was awkward. So, but yeah, I think that in this particular case, it is definitely she's cheating at this point. Before they had an open relationship and Alex was
Right. And
aware of what Piper was doing. Now she's doing it secretively, and
Right.
now this is cheating.
Well, and I don't know if Piper was aware it was cheating.
She's aware.
She is aware now.
Yep.
But I don't think she was aware when it started. I think she really thought like, no, this is cool. I can be friends with this person and we have a similar perspective.
Yeah.
It's crossing over.
It's crossed.
But at the same time, Alex had crossed over too. And
I am not saying that, but I'm saying in Piper's
right, Piper is
for Piper, she needs to tell Alex.
She needs to tell
Alex.
But you know what?
Needs to tell Piper. They're
it
both
could have
cheating
been what
at
she was
this
calling about too.
Right.
She may have been calling to say, "This is what's going on." We don't know that, and that'll be very telling going forward. If she reveals it pretty soon here, and is like, "Look, this is what's going on," then Alex had McCullough right behind Piper and didn't reveal anything. She's acting like, nope, No, this whole season she's been like that.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be really interesting to see where that goes, and if Piper has matured to a point that she can confront this, that would be a big step for the character.
Yes, I agree.
Compared to what we saw
She needs
when
to
they
not.
before they first met, that Piper is
Yeah.
a very different.
She needs to tell her before she does anything further.
Yes.
She needs to say, I'm developing feelings for Zelda.
Right.
And
This isn't going to be a one night stand.
This
and
is not me. This is this is an issue.
Yeah.
And then
And
Alex can choose to do with that what she will. If she wants to make Piper feel bad and pretend it's only her while she's been cheating on her with McCullough,
Right.
that's her choice. But I don't expect Alex to be a stand-up guy. But Piper needs this redemption, I think.
I agree. And I hope she does it.
Yeah, I do too.
I hope it doesn't end with we're going to see more of these collapsing relationships.
And
Because you may see that, but I think that Piper has to have redemption.
And
at
did
the
you
end.
see that in every single storyline, it was all about hugging?
Yes.
So every single person had been it felt like, we had
the hugging was where the resolution, the redemption or whatever happened in every one.
Yeah.
Because it was when Dixon and Maria hugged.
Right.
We
had
these were all big things.
You had Nikki hugging, you had
it was one I mean I can't remember exactly all of them, but we said it while we were watching. We're like,
Alex
there's
and
another
McCullough
one. Yep.
Hugged during the one scene. Zelda and Piper hugged at the end, and that's
Yep.
when she realized, oh crap, I'm totally attracted to you.
Yep.
And you had I'm trying to think. There, it seemed like all the way through, it was always about hugging.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting.
It was an interesting episode. All right, are we done?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do the business part of it. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Look up Orange is the New Black Podcast or Orange Podcast. And we have all that in the show notes, too. It's on our website. You can follow the links in the show notes to get you to any of that. The Facebook group is definitely working great. A lot of people commenting in there, a lot of more discussion than we've ever had. Keep it coming. I promise you, in one of these last couple episodes here, we are going to roll through those comments, and we're going to spend a little time talking about it, and then we'll probably do something where we kind of recap some of that before we go back and do season 1, which is something we are working on. So there you go. That's it. I have nothing more to say.
I have nothing more to say.
Inmates, back to your cell.